I give up on life, really. Everything I knew and did was revolved around cocaine. I'm especially happy my ex-wife's mom's here tonight. Nana was one of those people, Skip was asking who was praying for me when I was out there doing all that crazy stuff. I'm sure she was praying for me. Tonight I'm not going to talk a lot about how crazy it was in my life. Most of the people, not everybody here knows, but most of you knew me before. A lot of you didn't know me. The picture kind of tells most of the story, but I'll kind of go back to the beginning a little bit. You're supposed to say, how was it, Cecilia, how it was, what happened, and what's it like now. I grew up in a good household. I'm sure all of us have met people that either grew up in the hood or they had to sell drugs because their parents sold drugs. They didn't know right from wrong, weren't raised right. I have none of those excuses for my behavior. My mom and dad taught me right from wrong. They taught me to work hard. So my actions were solely on me. I made those decisions. I'm the oldest of 3 kids. It's me, then my little sister, my little brother. Most of you in this room know my brother. He's struggling now himself, and I'm kind of happy he is, because I like to see him outlive me, you know. Again, I grew up good. We were working class people. My parents taught me how to work hard. If I want something, work hard and get it. And I kind of lived my life that way almost till the end. There's one thing about having confidence in yourself as far as working hard. If you want something, if you want a beautiful girl, a Corvette, if you want money, if you know how to make it once, you can make it again. A lot of ups and downs. Was married 4 times, thinking that some woman would make me happy or would change how I felt or how I acted. All good people, just me. So for you ladies out there that think you can change a hardhead like me, it doesn't work like that. Jail didn't change me. Prison didn't change me. Desperation really didn't change me. Life went on. I started using, I was a late bloomer. I didn't drink till I was in my 20s. Didn't smoke weed till I was 24. A lot of people that met me later in life go, wow, what happened to you? I talk to guys all the time in recovery in different ways. And some of them smoke weed from the time they were 12 or 13. And, you know, the drugs was just a natural progression. I tell my daughters, don't start. When I grew up, I never drank or smoked weed or anything. I had a great time. I hung out with people that smoked weed, drank and smoked weed right next to me. Just never did it. Why I started, I have no idea. I guess I'm kind of like a thrill seeker at times when I was younger. I thought, well, I'll try that and see what happens. And I won't lie to you, in the beginning it was fun. Drinking and drugging, when it doesn't destroy your life, is fun in the beginning, but it's not fun after a while. I grew up going to church, went to Church of Christ when I was a kid. I remember walking to church. Got a driver's license, started looking at the other sex, the females, and I never went back to church. I like girls. I mean, when I was young, I was pretty flirtatious.
They got them in church.
And anyway, so on goes life. Finally, the drugs start catching up to me. I'm getting arrested monthly, if not weekly. In the beginning, I had enough money. Some of the stuff I tell you I'm not proud of. I had 3 felony convictions before my mother and father ever knew I'd been arrested. That's not something I'm proud of. It's just I was able to make enough money to hide that from the people that care about me, because I wouldn't want to see it disappointing when my dad dies. let's see. So, on goes life. When I was 30, I got arrested selling cocaine to an undercover officer in Batavia, Ohio. Called everybody to get me out of jail. Nobody get me out of jail. Said, if you want to get out of jail, you're going to have to go to a treatment center. So about a week in jail, eating everybody else's bologna, because I was pretty sick then too. I agreed to go to a 30-day treatment program at Christ Hospital. Went there, got healthy, did what they asked me to do, go to an AA meeting, one meeting a week. Was able to stay clean and sober. Got back with my wife at the time, the mother of my 2 daughters. Life was great. This is where it gets a little fuzzy for a lot of people, because they would look at me, look at my kids and my life and say, well, he's got it going on. We have rental properties, cars, companies. I have beautiful daughters, and all the guys were scared of me. It was perfect. You know, they didn't come around. They were afraid to bring them home. They were afraid to ever bring them home. And that was a really good time in my life. But I quit going to meetings. I wasn't attending church. I tried to do it on my own. I was kind of a person that, again, thought that if it's out there, I could get it. I don't really want to ask you for help. I don't want to owe you. So that's kind of the thing that I had to change. And that's not easy to change. It's not easy to ask someone for help if you're not used to doing that. You know, my dad raised me, don't borrow nothing. You know, buy or do without. And those are all good things if you don't take it to extremes. I'm an extreme person. And now I enjoy an extreme life the other direction. So anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, the first time I got clean and sober. So I go to meetings for about a year. I get probation. Great job. Just went on. Things were good. But people like the lady I was married to then, and other people that cared about me noticed that I didn't like to go to Kings Island. I wasn't comfortable in family functions. I never really understood why I was uncomfortable then. I was sick inside, but I wasn't doing nothing about it. See, I kind of believe now if you have a background of addiction, you got to do something about it all the time. You got to put something in the refrigerator if you're going to keep eating. A couple of my friends and me had a conversation recently, why, out of all the people that we've known in the last 4 years, why are we still clean and sober? And I don't have an answer why I still am, except I try not to do the things that will get me in trouble or tempt me or just any of that behavior. Because anybody can get locked up. You can get on drugs. I mean, how many people in here has been in jail and you've been clean and sober for a minute? Okay, great. I got a real nice audience. At the jail, they all raise their hand. But anyway, it's easy to quit using. It's hard to stay quit. I got a guy in the back row here. He's never had my issues, and we had a little talk in my office just recently. He goes, you know, I remember him looking at me and said, why? You know, what happened? You know, because it's kind of a deceiving. You know, my other friend doesn't like to call it a disease, so we'll call it a sickness tonight. It's hard to describe. It's a shameful type thing. I would use not to feel, and then I would feel bad about using, so I would use more not to feel, and more and more. Because again, I told you I knew right from wrong. I wasn't raised wrong, so I was guilty, and I felt bad. And nobody likes feeling bad. I think that's why most people drink and drug in the beginning anyways, for the effect. They want to feel a little different. So anyway, life goes on, 30 to 42, 43, things are okay. They seem okay. And then, you know, one day, that particular lady I was married to says, you know, what's wrong, you're not happy? And I was pretty much insulted. You know, what do you mean? Look around, what do you mean? What's not to be happy? You know, I'm not doing cocaine anymore. This is as good as I get. And that's where the lie is. That's where the falsehood lays. You know, you can get better. The drugs and the alcohol are just a symptom. That's just this part of it. Learning how to live right is a whole nother thing. And you got to do something. I was fortunate enough to know right from wrong and know the right thing at least to do. So I had some memory of how to live. But I had to find people like Skip and Cecilia and some other people in my life to ask them, what do I do? How do I stay clean and sober? So let's go back to that part where I wasn't happy. So I took that as an insult, even though that person was trying to help me. That's another thing about drugs and alcohol. You will run, if you're like me, from anybody that cares about you. You want to go and you want to be around people who say, you're okay, Russ. You got money, you got drugs, you're okay. You don't want to be around people who go, Dad, they see you, you know, what's wrong with your weight? When's the last time you ate? When's the last time you slept? You don't want to hear none of that. Because when you hear that, then you want to use more because you really don't want to deal with what you are at that time. And I never wanted to deal with what I was. So I went on a terror, I will call it that, from 30 to 42. I would say I was clean and sober then from 42 until about 4 years ago, 50 months, whatever it is. I was completely out of control. The only time I was in control was when I was locked up. Every time I got locked up, they saved my life. I don't hate the policemen. I don't hate the judges. All they did was try to slow me down because they couldn't stop me. My parents couldn't stop me. My wife couldn't stop me. My kids couldn't stop me. It's kind of hard to explain how that happens. How when people care about you come to you and say, please stop. You know, I'll give you another chance. I'll stick by you. I'll put you in rehab. I will do whatever I can. It's very hard for those people, which now I'm one of those. Now I'm on the other side of the fence. Now I have loved ones and good friends that are sick. They're sick. They don't know they're sick, but they're sick. And it drives me crazy. What are they thinking? What's wrong with them? I'm saying the same thing everybody said about me. Because when you live a normal life and you're going in the right direction, all these behavior doesn't make any sense. I can remember my father saying, what are you doing wrestling those refrigerators for $20 or $30 so you can take it down to Madisonville and give it to the drug dealers? And really, when you ask a question like that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, really, you can't get much drugs for $20, $30, number one. And two, I only weighed about 147 pounds, so the refrigerators were getting me. But I went on because I don't want to quit. I don't want to give in. I don't want to admit defeat. So I kept going and kept going, locked up, in and out. Finally, one day, I'm pretty well done for a minute. I'm laying in a bunch of bags of clothes out in a building that my father had built for me to help me change my life and get back on track in business. And he comes out there, and it took a long walk. My dad's not big on walking, but he probably walked about a quarter of a mile. And I know that was a long walk because I have to go and talk to people all the time, and I hate to start that conversation. And he goes, do you got a place to go? Now, you got to understand, from the time I was 17 or 18, I never asked for no money. I was on my own, and I was proud of that. And here's my dad asking me if I got a place to go. And it hurt me. But it was the right thing. Of course, I jumped up and said, well, yeah, you know, I'm good. You know, I got a place to go. I had nowhere to go. he asked me, he said, I really don't want you to leave, but with your, I don't know what's the right word, with your money-making, whatever, you or your brother's going to die, and I can't watch you die. And that really, really hit home with me. Now, you got to understand, I've had people crying, praying probably for sure, begging me to stop for many years. And this man says one thing to me at the right time, which I know was very hard for him to say. And he said, if I'd like you to stay if you'll get some help. And my father really didn't really understand, still probably doesn't understand addiction because he's not an addicted person. But, and then he walked away. He said, I'll get you a place. I won't give you no money, but I'll find you a place to stay because I just can't watch you die. So it was a perfect combination. But I didn't really want to die either. So I made the walk after he went because I didn't want to walk with him. And I got on the phone and called a few places. I forgot to mention, right before all this happened, I have 2 felony convictions waiting for me for possession of cocaine in Claremont County. So I know I'm going back to prison anyway. I called a couple places. Fortunately, Payne Valley let me come in. I met a lady named Cecilia. She saw me like that. She started out an interview thing about this deep and got to the 3rd page and said, you're in. I didn't have any money. I had no insurance. But I was willing. I was broken. For the people to care about somebody that's using, unfortunately, when they're like me, they have to be broken. If they're not broken, they're usually not open to change. But I was broken. I was willing to do whatever it took. So, long story short, I meet her on a Wednesday. I made the call Monday. They got me on Wednesday. I do the interview with her. She says, you can come in. She walked me out. She showed me where this program is, where I spend 2 hours every Wednesday. I spent an hour with her. It's 1 o'clock or something. I asked her if I could stay and wait, So I stayed and waited. And I spent those 2 hours, and then Friday I spent an hour with her. And then she says, go to an AA meeting. I remember I used to go to those. So I go into an AA meeting up here in Hillsborough on a Friday night. I hear this voice. No way, not in Hillsborough, Ohio. I know the voice. It's a person I was basically locked up with down in Kentucky. He's sitting up here in the front row. He looks good. He looks good. We go outside to smoke. Of course, I ain't got no cigarettes. He's got a cigarette. I'm smoking. He's on fire. You got to come to our church. You got to come to our church. And I'm like, because he's kind of a con man, to be honest with you, and the best I've ever met. So I'm going, what are they doing over there? What's going on? And he goes, just you got to come. So this was a Friday night. I said, well, he said, will you come Sunday? I said, I'm busy. What is a broken down, wore out cocaine addict busy with? No, I'm busy. He goes, well, you got to come on Tuesday. And I have my mom's phone. He said, I will blow your mother's phone up. I said, okay. So I came to this church when it was down on the other side of town on a Tuesday night. It was raining and storming and lightning. And I'm going, this ain't good. This ain't good. And I go in there and I meet people like Skip, and all these other people that are like me, except they're happy. They have hope. There's life in their eyes. So I'm sitting there going, that's pretty cool, So immediately when I get out of there, I call my counselor, Cecilia, and said, is this the right thing for me? Is this a cult? What is this? And she says, no, I think her and Skip were talking all the time. And then she said, no, that's good, that's good. So I started coming. So my life kind of changed right there. It's how it started. Go to Payne Valley on a Wednesday. Go to one-on-one on Friday. Friday night I go to an AA meeting. Sunday morning I go to church. Sunday night I go to church. Tuesday I go to church. Back to Payne Valley on Wednesday. Friday, AA, church. I took a little time today to kind of add up all the times, not the hours, but the times that first year. And you know, at least 4 out of 5 nights, or days, I was doing something in recovery. Whether it was just hanging out with people or going to a meeting or something. I started doing the dishes at the house, changing the kitty litter. I felt like Superman. I mean, I really did. Sometimes I like to go back to just doing the kitty litter and doing the dishes. It would be a lot easier. But anyway, so life got good very fast. I started coming to this church on Tuesday night. This is what we normally do, except somebody teaches a lesson up here. And then we eat, and then we break into small groups. The guys go over here and the ladies go over there, and we kind of talk about our problems, which really helped me a lot. This week of my brother, there he is. Anyway, so life got good. Pretty soon, I've got my driver's license back. I'm working. My daughters are speaking to me. Of course, I'm eating and sleeping. That was beautiful. And life got really good. I mean, and it's still great. But you know, there was just something that wasn't 100%. Something was holding me back. And finally I decided, you know, maybe I will let God take control of my life. And maybe I'll let Him handle all this stuff that I think that I can handle. So I kind of rededicated. I've been baptized before. I kind of rededicated my life to God, and did that at this church. Can you stay clean and sober without going to church without God? Sure. Will you be happy? Probably not as happy as me. You probably won't be. There's a guy that we all know in this church. He gave me a ride before I had a driver's license. And he says, you know, AA is good. He said, I'm telling you, if you get God in your life, it'll be easier. He's not with us tonight. He's kind of still out there, and I prayed for him. He said, he's one of them guys that makes me go, what is wrong with him? Why doesn't he straighten up? But anyway, so then my life got real good. Now I'm feeling great. I got some secrets I haven't let go of. Oops, I got to go to prison. It's time to go see the judge. So now I'm thinking, wow, this is not really fair, you know. I broke the law, but I'm doing good. Now I got to go back to prison. I felt kind of defeated a little bit, but I was pretty happy that the rest of my life was going good. The mother of my 2 daughters, she asked me, what's different? What's different? And you know, from her standpoint, she has to wonder, well, why are you different now? You had all these other times I told her it's God, you know. But anyhow, so I go to court, reluctantly. Skip goes down, a couple guys from church, Cecilia, and I have a tough judge in Oklahoma County. The PSI report, or whatever it is, pre-sentence investigation, I know all these terms, said you will be going to prison. That's number 12 and number 13 felony. You will be going to get your affairs in order, because that's what you normally do. But I get in front of this judge, and they speak for me in my behalf. They tell him what I've been doing for the last 6-8 months. Then he asked me to stand up, and I said, he said, Mr. Hill, are you really doing this? Little did I know that he was looking at that picture. I said, yes, Your Honor. He goes, well, you know I'm supposed to send you to prison. I said, yes, Your Honor. I was scared. And he said, but you know, he said, prison didn't work for you. He goes, rehabs weren't working for you. Something's working for you. And I started getting a little hope, you know, I was getting a little excited. And I thought, what is he doing to me? You know? And he said, well, here's what we're going to do. I want you to keep doing what you're doing. Can you do that? I said, oh, yes, I can do that. And he gave me 5 years paper. So I have to go down there every month and report. After about 8 months of reporting, this girl, this young lady, she was my PO, and she was like, I come in with my notebook with all my signatures, and I've been all week. And I'd be saying, I got to go to the bathroom. Come on, test me. I drove from Hillsborough. You know, I've been drinking coffee. And she's like, you know, I've had enough of you. She said, if you can pay your supervision fees, I will talk to the judge and get you all paper. And when she said that, it scared me a little bit. I thought, maybe that's not good. So I called Skip and I called Cecilia and I said, they were thinking about letting me get off paper. So they're all excited. So I thought, okay, it's okay to be excited. And I got off paper, and that's kind of how it was and what happened. These days, I think am I about right on time? Because we're hungry? Oh, it's perfect. I can't see my watch. Now I talk to my ex-wife on the phone. We talk about those two's problems. My brother is my partner. My mom and dad are there for me. And now I can actually kind of be there for them, which is kind of cool. I mean, sometimes it's not as easy as other times. I have friends in my life that have stumbled and fallen and got back up. You know, now the hardest thing in my life now is to remember where I came from. To remember that I was just laying after in that barn and somebody said the right thing to me and gave me a chance. And, you know, me and Todd go out to the jail every other Thursday or twice a month. We get to go in the jail and come back out. We go in the front door and we come back out. Because I never get over that. I'm used to going in the back and not getting out. It's, you go out there and you see the hopelessness in these guys' eyes. Some of them are broken, some of them are young, you know. And I tell the young ones, hey, if this is working for you, if you don't mind these 30 days, 60 days, 6 months vacations, if you ain't got a wife to lose, no house, no job, you ain't got no car, you ain't got nothing to lose, well, this is not bad. You can party, get real sick, come in here, you know, beef up on the bologna, and go back out and do it again. I said, but if you're like me, there's some older guys out there, trust me. I say, if you're sick of this, and me and Todd always challenge them, try this way for 90 days. If you don't like it, you can go back to the drugs and alcohol. So that's kind of like what it's like now. But tonight I was really, I feel blessed to be able to speak to you guys. My life is great. Do I have problems? Oh, yeah. Do I got to go get high or drunk? No. Do I lose my temper? Yeah. No. And sometimes I lose it more often than I really am comfortable with. Sometimes it's good to yell and just kind of vent. Anyway. But my daughters are doing well. A couple really good things came out of cocaine. I didn't really want to end on this note, but I'm going to. I got to know my mom and dad. I got to know my dad especially. I never would have known my dad had I not been broken. And the other thing is, it's let me work on the other stuff. You know, like telling the truth, being there for a friend, loaning somebody money so they can get a house, borrowing money and paying it back, paying your bills, showing up when you say you're supposed to. You know, I like to help other people, and it makes me feel good. I can feel good now without getting high. I can feel good because that's what you're supposed to do. And I pray every day. This life's different now. You develop a conscience. You know, that's something that I don't think I had most of my life. Things didn't bother me before. If they did, I was able to fight it off. Now, when something bothers me, I gotta talk about it. I gotta talk about it. Because if I don't talk about it, then I might do something I shouldn't do. I know that sounds crazy. And I never thought I was a feel sorry for Rusty type person. But the fact of the matter was, I was very self-centered. It was all about me. You were last if you were even in the line. And now it's kind of different. You know, in America, or probably in the world, you make money, you work, you get ahead. That's how it is. In recovery, you have something that's been given to you freely, and you give it to somebody else, and then you get ahead. You know, giving your life to God is not about trying to be the perfect person. It's just about surrendering to things that you can't do. You know, there's things I can't do. There's things I ain't supposed to do. And with good people around me, they let me know if I'm starting to get over by that gravel. You know, I remember people used to say, boy, we need to buy some life insurance on you because you live in the gravel. And I did most of my life. Why I'm still alive? I don't know. But I know I have a great life now, and I owe it to God for breaking me and then putting people in my life. You know, did God come sit down with me one day and say, now look, you got to quit doing that cocaine? No, he never did that. But he put people in my life to let me know that you can do it and still be happy. As far as being happy using drugs, my happiness and fun ran out about 20 years ago. So after that, it was called using. There's a reason they call drug abuse using. We're using, you know, we think we're using the drugs are using us. It's just not worth it. Gosh, I don't know what else to say. I think it's a good time to eat. Thanks for coming out tonight. Try something different if you ain't already. That's all.
Hallelujah.
Hey, Rusty,
Thank you.
stand up right there. Get back.
Oh, my buddy?
No, back over by your picture. I want both of them. Get over that way.
Man, this is getting ridiculous.
No, not you, Skip. Get out of the picture. Rusty, get over by your picture. I just want a close-up of both these. Close that way. Go.
Both. This is really getting
Right,
ugly.
right there. Right there. There you go. All right.
All right, thank you.